In today's video, we'll dive into a crucial topic inspired by Stoic teachings. Always say no to these 9 types of people. The Stoics believed that our relationships play a significant role in shaping our character and overall well-being. They taught that certain people, by their nature, can hinder our personal growth and disrupt our peace of mind. We'll explore 9 types of individuals you should avoid to maintain your mental clarity, emotional stability, and personal integrity. These aren't just random categories, they're based on principles that have guided some of the greatest thinkers in history. Whether it's someone who constantly blames others for their problems, or a person who perpetually sees the glass as half empty. Recognizing these traits in the people around you can save you from unnecessary stress and turmoil. By learning to identify and distance yourself from these negative influences, you'll be better equipped to cultivate a life of tranquility and purpose. Stick around to find out who these people are and why it's essential to keep them at arm's length. If you find this content valuable, don't forget to subscribe to the Daily Philosophy channel. Hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. We love hearing from our community, so leave a comment below with your thoughts, share this video with your friends, and give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Your support helps us continue to bring you insightful and meaningful content. Let's get started. 1. People cloaked in self-made illusions. Individuals ensconced in self-fashioned delusions often weave intricate webs of fabrication around themselves. These individuals, in their attempt to shield themselves from discomfort, resort to concocting elaborate narratives that diverge from the Stoics' counsel of candid introspection. Rather than confronting their shortcomings, they camouflage them, akin to sweeping dust under a rug. The crux of the issue lies in their unwavering faith in these fabrications, which blinds them to the perspectives of others. They fail to grasp the notion that our perceptions can be skewed by our emotions, leading us to see the world not as it is but as we wish it to be. Their motives are not necessarily malicious. Rather, they find solace in their self-imposed illusions, perhaps stemming from tumultuous formative experiences that molded their outlook. This psychological armor they've erected poses a formidable barrier to intervention. It's akin to attempting to persuade someone of the Earth's spherical nature, while they vehemently cling to a belief in a flat world. Despite presenting irrefutable evidence, they persist in reshaping reality to align with their preconceptions. True transformation only becomes feasible when they recognize the fallacy of their cognitive processes. A realization often necessitating the guidance of mental health professionals. This phenomenon bears striking resemblance to contemporary political discourse, where individuals steadfastly adhere to their ideological camps, dismissing incongruities and contradictions in their arguments. For instance, consider the case of Jane, who grew up in a family where success was paramount, and any failure was met with harsh criticism. To cope with the pressure, Jane started creating a facade of perfection, fabricating stories of accomplishments and downplaying any setbacks. Despite her friends and colleagues noticing inconsistencies in her narratives, Jane adamantly clung to her illusions, refusing to acknowledge the reality of her struggles. It wasn't until she sought therapy and confronted the root causes of her behavior that she began to dismantle the walls of deception she had built around herself. Through introspection and guidance, Jane learned to embrace vulnerability and accept herself, flaws and all, leading to genuine personal growth and a more authentic way of relating to others. This process of confronting and dismantling self-made illusions is not an easy journey. It requires a willingness to confront uncomfortable truths and a readiness to challenge deeply ingrained beliefs. Yet, it is a journey worth embarking on, for it opens the door to authentic self-awareness and genuine connections with others. Moreover, the prevalence of self-made illusions extends beyond individual psychology to societal and political realms. In today's polarized world, people often cling to rigid ideologies and narratives, disregarding evidence that contradicts their worldview. This phenomenon is evident in the realm of politics. where individuals align themselves with particular parties or movements and vehemently defend their positions, even in the face of contradictory facts. For example, consider the contentious issue of climate change. Despite overwhelming scientific consensus on the reality of climate change and its human-caused origins, there are still individuals who deny its existence or downplay its significance. These individuals may cling to misinformation or conspiracy theories that align with their preconceived beliefs, rejecting scientific evidence that challenges their worldview. Similarly, in the realm of social justice, there are those who deny the existence of systemic racism or inequality, dismissing lived experiences and empirical data that demonstrate the pervasive nature of these issues. Instead, they may propagate narratives that uphold the status quo or shift blame onto marginalized communities, perpetuating harmful stereotypes and injustices. In both cases, the refusal to acknowledge reality and confront uncomfortable truths perpetuates harm and impedes progress. Just as individuals must confront their self-made illusions to achieve personal growth and well-being, so too must societies confront their collective illusions to create a more just and equitable world. In conclusion, individuals ensnared in self-made illusions must reckon with the reality of their beliefs and perceptions to foster genuine growth and connection. This process is not easy, but it is essential for personal and societal transformation. By confronting uncomfortable truths and embracing vulnerability, individuals can dismantle the walls of deception and cultivate authentic self-awareness. Similarly, societies must confront collective illusions to address systemic injustices and create a more equitable world for all. 2. Opportunists. Individuals who exploit empathy for personal gain are a pervasive challenge in interpersonal relationships. While empathy is often hailed as a noble quality, there exists a subset of individuals who view it as an opportunity for exploitation. These opportunists feign friendship and camaraderie, all the while harboring ulterior motives to manipulate and exploit those who extend kindness towards them. Distinguishing them from genuine friends can be challenging, but their actions often reveal their true intentions. Unlike true friends who seek assistance only when genuinely in need, opportunists continuously demand favors, regardless of their own capabilities to manage on their own. They possess a remarkable ability to induce guilt, leveraging phrases like "you're a great friend, can you do this for me?" to coerce compliance. Despite repeated instances of assistance, opportunists remain unchanged in their behavior, steadfast in their belief that others exist solely to serve their needs. An illustrative example of this dynamic can be seen in the workplace, where a colleague consistently requests assistance with tasks well within their own capabilities, exploiting the goodwill of others while shirking their own responsibilities. In navigating relationships with such individuals, it is imperative to prioritize self-care and boundary setting. While it may be tempting to continue extending assistance in hopes of eliciting a change in behavior, it is often fruitless and detrimental to one's own well-being. Recognizing the pattern of manipulation and setting firm boundaries is essential in protecting oneself from exploitation. While it may feel uncomfortable to distance oneself from these individuals, it is ultimately an act of self-preservation. By prioritizing one's own needs and boundaries, individuals can cultivate healthier, more authentic relationships based on mutual respect and reciprocity. Moreover, fostering a deeper understanding of genuine friendship and mutual support is crucial in discerning opportunists from sincere connections. True friends exhibit a reciprocal and genuine concern for each other's well-being, characterized by a willingness to offer assistance and support in times of genuine need. Unlike opportunists who exploit kindness for personal gain, genuine friends respect boundaries and reciprocate acts of kindness without ulterior motives. Building and nurturing such authentic relationships requires a foundation of trust, mutual respect, and empathy. In a professional setting, for example, consider a scenario where a colleague consistently offers support and guidance to a fellow team member who appears to struggle with certain tasks. Initially, the colleague appreciates the assistance and expresses gratitude for the help received. However, over time, it becomes apparent that the colleague consistently relies on others to complete tasks that they are fully capable of handling themselves. Despite reassurances and encouragement to take on more responsibility, the colleague continues to defer tasks to others, citing various excuses or feigning incompetence. In this case, the colleague's behavior aligns with that of an opportunist, exploiting the goodwill of others while evading accountability for their own responsibilities. To address such situations effectively, it is essential to establish clear communication and boundaries. Honest and direct conversations about expectations and boundaries can help prevent opportunists from taking advantage of kindness and manipulate others for personal gain. Additionally, fostering a culture of accountability and mutual support within the workplace can discourage opportunistic behavior and promote genuine collaboration and teamwork. In conclusion, while empathy and kindness are commendable traits, it is essential to remain vigilant against opportunists who seek to exploit these qualities for personal gain. By recognizing the patterns of manipulation and setting firm boundaries, individuals can protect themselves from exploitation and cultivate healthier, more authentic relationships built on mutual respect and reciprocity. Through fostering genuine connections and promoting accountability, workplaces and communities can create environments that deter opportunistic behavior and foster a culture of mutual support and collaboration. 3. People who only think of themselves. Individuals who exhibit self-centered behavior often prioritize their own needs and desires above those of others, demonstrating a lack of empathy and consideration. For instance, imagine discussing a recent promotion with a self-centered acquaintance, only to have them redirect the conversation to their own dissatisfaction with their career. Rather than sharing in your joy, they overshadow it with their own grievances, leaving you feeling invalidated and unseen. This pattern of behavior extends beyond individual interactions, permeating social settings where the self-centered individual consistently seeks attention and validation, disregarding the thoughts and feelings of those around them. This dynamic creates an imbalance where the needs of others are consistently overlooked in favor of catering to the self-centered individual's ego. In such situations, it becomes imperative to evaluate the quality of the relationship and consider setting boundaries to protect one's emotional well-being. In a workplace scenario, consider a team meeting where a colleague consistently monopolizes the discussion with anecdotes about their achievements and challenges, leaving little room for others to contribute or express their opinions. Despite the team's efforts to collaborate and share ideas, the self-centered colleague consistently redirects the conversation to focus on their own agenda, demonstrating a lack of regard for the collective goals of the team. As a result, team morale and productivity suffer, as other members feel marginalized and disengaged from the discussion. In this context, addressing the self-centered behavior requires open communication and assertive boundary setting to ensure that all team members feel valued and respected. In conclusion, individuals who prioritize their own needs and desires above those of others create an environment of imbalance and discord in interpersonal relationships and social settings. By recognizing the patterns of self-centered behavior and advocating for healthy boundaries, individuals can protect their emotional well-being and foster more equitable and fulfilling relationships. Through open communication and mutual respect, workplaces and communities can create environments that promote collaboration and inclusivity, where the needs of all individuals are valued and considered. Moreover, addressing self-centered behavior necessitates fostering a deeper understanding of empathy and compassion within interpersonal dynamics. While it may be tempting to dismiss self-centered individuals as inherently selfish, it is crucial to recognize that their behavior often stems from underlying insecurities or a lack of emotional awareness. By approaching these individuals with empathy and understanding, it becomes possible to encourage self-reflection and growth. Consider a family gathering where a relative consistently dominates conversations with tales of their own accomplishments and experiences, leaving little opportunity for others to share their own stories. Rather than dismissing this behavior as mere self-absorption, taking a moment to consider the individual's background and experiences may reveal deeper insights into their motivations. Perhaps this relative grew up in an environment where they were constantly overlooked or criticized, leading them to seek validation through attention-seeking behaviors. By acknowledging their underlying insecurities and gently guiding them towards more inclusive communication patterns, it becomes possible to foster healthier and more harmonious family dynamics. Furthermore, cultivating a culture of empathy and mutual support within social circles and communities can help mitigate the impact of self-centered behavior. By encouraging individuals to actively listen to and validate the experiences of others, it becomes possible to create spaces where all voices are heard and respected. This approach not only promotes greater understanding and connection, but also empowers individuals to challenge self-centered attitudes and behaviors in a constructive manner. In conclusion, addressing self-centered behavior requires a multifaceted approach that combines empathy, understanding, and assertive communication. By recognizing the underlying motivations behind such behavior and fostering a culture of empathy and mutual support, individuals can work towards creating more inclusive and fulfilling interpersonal relationships and social environments. Through patience, compassion, and a commitment to growth, it becomes possible to navigate the complexities of human interaction with grace and understanding. For folks who never admit their mistakes, individuals who habitually evade accountability for their actions demonstrate a reluctance to acknowledge their mistakes, thereby hindering their personal growth and development. This refusal to take responsibility is antithetical to the values espoused by philosophical traditions like Stoicism, which prioritize introspection and humility as integral components of self-improvement. Rather than admitting fault, these individuals deflect blame onto external factors, absolving themselves of any culpability. This pattern of behavior not only reflects a lack of self-awareness, but also disregards the impact of their actions on others. Instead of reflecting on their choices and their consequences, they resort to finger-pointing and scapegoating, perpetuating a cycle of avoidance and denial. Consequently, attempts to intervene and cultivate humility often prove futile, as these individuals remain steadfast in their refusal to acknowledge their shortcomings. For instance, consider a coworker who consistently misses project deadlines and attributes their failures to external factors, such as workload or technical issues. Despite receiving feedback and opportunities for improvement, they persist in deflecting blame and shirking responsibility, ultimately undermining team cohesion and productivity. In navigating relationships with such individuals, it becomes essential to prioritize self-care and boundary setting. While it may be tempting to continue investing time and energy into efforts to facilitate change, it is crucial to recognize when such endeavors are futile. Rather than enabling their avoidance tactics, asserting boundaries and holding them accountable for their actions can encourage greater self-reflection and accountability. By setting a precedent for honest communication and mutual respect, individuals can foster healthier and more equitable relationships based on transparency and accountability. Furthermore, fostering a culture of accountability within social and professional environments can help deter patterns of blame shifting and avoidance. By promoting open dialogue and constructive feedback, organizations and communities can create spaces where individuals feel empowered to take ownership of their actions and learn from their mistakes. Through collective efforts to uphold principles of integrity and accountability, it becomes possible to cultivate environments that foster growth, resilience, and mutual support. Additionally, addressing the root causes of avoidance behavior requires a nuanced approach that combines empathy, understanding, and assertive communication. Rather than simply admonishing individuals for their unwillingness to admit mistakes, it is essential to explore the underlying factors contributing to their behavior. Perhaps these individuals fear judgment or failure, leading them to adopt defensive mechanisms as a means of self-preservation. By approaching the situation with compassion and empathy, it becomes possible to create a supportive environment conducive to growth and self-reflection. For instance, consider a friend who consistently deflects blame onto external factors when faced with challenges in their personal life. Rather than admonishing them for their behavior, take the time to listen and understand the underlying emotions driving their responses. Perhaps they are struggling with feelings of inadequacy or fear of rejection, causing them to adopt a defensive stance as a means of protecting their self-esteem. By validating their experiences and offering support without judgment, you create a safe space for them to explore their emotions and confront their avoidance tendencies. Furthermore, empowering individuals to take ownership of their actions and consequences is essential in fostering accountability and growth. Rather than enabling avoidance behavior by rescuing individuals from the repercussions of their actions, encourage them to face the consequences head-on and learn from their mistakes. By holding them accountable in a firm yet compassionate manner, you empower them to take control of their lives and embrace personal responsibility. In conclusion, addressing avoidance behavior requires a multifaceted approach that combines empathy, understanding, and assertive communication. By fostering a supportive environment conducive to self-reflection and growth, individuals can confront their avoidance tendencies and embrace accountability. Through patience, compassion, and a commitment to personal development, it becomes possible to cultivate healthier and more fulfilling relationships built on trust, integrity, and mutual respect. 5. People who don't plan ahead. Observing someone close to you neglecting to plan for their future can be disheartening, especially when you believe in their potential for greatness. Despite your efforts to encourage them to consider the long-term implications of their actions, they remain fixated on the present moment, seemingly oblivious to the passage of time. While embracing the present is essential for happiness, it is equally important to set goals and aspirations for the future. Our actions today lay the foundation for tomorrow, shaping the trajectory of our lives and contributing to our overall sense of fulfillment. It's not a lack of ability that holds these individuals back. Rather, it's a failure to envision how their skills and talents can be harnessed to create a better future. Rather than acquiring new skills, they need guidance in applying their existing strengths towards tangible goals. By empowering them to take initiative and pursue their aspirations independently, we can instill a sense of agency and self-efficacy, propelling them towards personal growth and success. For example, consider a friend who possesses exceptional artistic talents, but struggles to envision a future career path beyond their immediate circumstances. Despite receiving praise for their artwork, they remain hesitant to pursue formal education or professional opportunities, opting instead to focus on short-term gratification. By engaging in conversations about their long-term aspirations and providing support and guidance in setting achievable goals, you can empower them to take ownership of their future and channel their creativity towards meaningful endeavors. Through encouragement and mentorship, they can begin to recognize the value of planning ahead and seize opportunities for personal and professional growth. Furthermore, fostering a mindset of proactive planning and goal setting is essential for cultivating resilience and adaptability in the face of adversity. While ancient thinkers extolled the virtues of striving towards a better life, they also recognized the importance of navigating challenges with grace and fortitude. In today's fast-paced world, where anxiety and uncertainty abound, individuals who possess the foresight to plan ahead are better equipped to weather life's inevitable storms. By embracing a proactive approach to life and embracing opportunities for growth and self-improvement, we can cultivate a sense of empowerment and resilience that transcends momentary setbacks and paves the way for enduring success and fulfillment. In conclusion, the failure to plan ahead can hinder personal growth and limit one's potential for success and fulfillment. By encouraging individuals to consider the long-term implications of their actions and empowering them to set goals and aspirations for the future, we can instill a sense of purpose and direction that propels them towards greatness. Through mentorship, guidance, and encouragement, we can help individuals harness their talents and strengths to create a future filled with opportunity and possibility. 6. Those stuck on life's negatives. Some individuals perpetually see the glass as half empty. A stark contrast to ancient thinkers who emphasized maintaining calm and facing adversity with strength and gratitude. While everyone experiences bad days and occasional feelings of anger or sadness, it is entirely different to fixate solely on the negatives and overlook life's positives. This unbalanced perspective not only dampens one's mood, but also obscures the inherent beauty of the world. People who habitually focus on the downsides often become resistant to help, making any attempt to assist them feel like a futile effort. Their relentless negativity can be draining and may even start to affect your own mental well-being. Much like how constant exposure to negative news stories can leave one feeling despondent. Consider a colleague named Sarah who constantly complains about her life. Whether it's about her financial struggles, issues with her children, or conflicts with her partner, Sarah always has something to gripe about. Despite your well-meaning efforts to offer solutions, she seems to find a new problem for every answer you provide. Her habitual negativity starts to wear you down, making you question whether she genuinely seeks solutions or simply revels in the act of complaining. It becomes evident that her focus on the negative aspects of her life not only affects her own mood, but also has the potential to drag others into a similar state of pessimism. This pattern of behavior suggests that some people may not truly desire resolution for their problems. Instead, they might derive a sense of identity or comfort from their continuous complaints. For instance, if all of Sarah's issues were magically resolved overnight, she might still find something else to lament, as her mindset is deeply entrenched in focusing on what's wrong rather than appreciating what's right. This tendency can make it exceedingly difficult for anyone attempting to help, as it feels like no amount of advice or support can shift their perspective. To preserve your own mental health and well-being, it is crucial to recognize when your efforts are being absorbed into a bottomless pit of negativity. Instead of exhausting yourself trying to uplift someone who is determined to remain downcast, it may be more productive to redirect your energy towards individuals who are open to positive change and genuinely value your guidance. These are the people who, when faced with challenges, seek constructive feedback and strive to improve their situations. Focusing on those who are receptive to help not only makes your efforts more rewarding, but also reinforces your own positive outlook. For instance, mentoring a proactive and optimistic individual can be a mutually uplifting experience, fostering a cycle of encouragement and growth. In contrast, continually engaging with someone fixated on the negatives can pull you into their pessimistic vortex, potentially compromising your own mental and emotional health. Ultimately, while it is important to offer support and empathy to those struggling, it is equally important to set boundaries to protect your own well-being. Recognizing when to step back and allow individuals to find their own path is a critical aspect of maintaining a positive and balanced life. By choosing to invest your energy in those who appreciate and act upon your advice, you can create a more fulfilling and optimistic environment for both yourself and those around you. 7. Individuals who think it's never their fault. Individuals who perpetually believe they are blameless, pointing fingers at everyone else for their misfortunes, present a significant challenge. This mindset starkly contrasts with a philosophical principle that emphasizes focusing on our reactions to situations rather than the situations themselves. When people refuse to take responsibility for their actions, they allow their emotions to dictate their responses, often leading to confusion and stagnation. It is nearly impossible to assist someone who is convinced that all their problems stem from external sources and who fails to recognize their own mistakes. Without this critical self-awareness, they remain trapped in a cycle of denial, unable to improve because they see no room for improvement within themselves. Consider John, a colleague who consistently blames others for his lack of progress at work. When he is passed over for a promotion, he insists it is because the manager is biased, rather than considering whether his own performance might have been lacking. If he struggles with weight gain, he attributes it to the high cost of healthy food, ignoring his choices about what to eat and how often to exercise. John's social circle is limited, yet he believes this is due to others not understanding him, rather than reflecting on whether his own behavior might be pushing people away. In every scenario, John's default reaction is to externalize blame, ensuring he never has to confront the possibility that his actions might be contributing to his problems. This pattern of behavior is problematic because it prevents personal growth and improvement. If someone like John never sees his mistakes, he will never strive to be better. He remains stuck, convinced of his infallibility, which ultimately hinders any progress. People who refuse to acknowledge their own shortcomings live in a constant state of defensive posturing. They fail to learn from their experiences because they are too busy deflecting blame. Their inability to self-reflect and accept responsibility creates a barrier to personal development. The most effective way to help such individuals is not through direct confrontation or attempts to change their mindset forcibly. Instead, life's experiences must be allowed to teach them the lessons they are unwilling to accept from others. For instance, if John repeatedly blames others for his failed projects, eventually the pattern of failure might prompt him to reconsider his stance. When faced with consistent negative outcomes, he might begin to question whether his approach needs adjustment. This process of realization, though slow and often painful, is more likely to lead to genuine change than any amount of external advice. Moreover, it is crucial to maintain boundaries with individuals who habitually deflect blame. While offering support and guidance is important, continually engaging with someone who refuses to take responsibility can be draining and unproductive. Instead of investing excessive energy and trying to convince them to change, it might be more beneficial to focus on your own responses and actions. By demonstrating accountability and self-reflection, you can model the behaviors that they need to adopt. This indirect approach might eventually inspire them to take a closer look at their own actions. Ultimately, people who never admit their mistakes are difficult to help because they are not open to the possibility of change. Their belief in their own infallibility prevents them from seeing the true causes of their problems. The best strategy is to let life's experiences provide the necessary lessons. When faced with repeated failures, they might eventually come to understand that the common denominator in their problems is themselves. Until then, maintaining a healthy distance and focusing on your own growth can protect you from being dragged into their cycle of blame. By fostering a culture of accountability and self-improvement around them, you can subtly encourage them to embark on their own journey of self-discovery. 8. Individuals expecting the world to favor them. There are individuals who expect the world to cater to their every whim, believing they deserve special treatment merely because they exist. This sense of entitlement is starkly contrasted by Stoic teachings, which advocate for living in harmony with the world and others, emphasizing that respect and rewards should be earned through merit and effort. Stoicism encourages a balanced approach to life, recognizing that true worth comes from our actions and character, not from any inherent sense of superiority. Consider the example of Emma, a young professional who believes that her good looks and charming personality should open every door for her. She expects colleagues to pick up her slack at work and feels slighted when they don't. Despite her minimal contributions to team projects, she believes she deserves the same accolades and promotions as her more hardworking peers. Emma's attitude creates a challenging environment for those around her, especially for kind-hearted individuals who genuinely want to help her see the reality of her situation. They might try to guide her towards a more balanced perspective, but often, their well-meaning advice is met with resistance or even hostility. Emma perceives their guidance as a threat to her self-image rather than a chance to grow. This mindset is problematic not only because it fosters unrealistic expectations, but also because it leads to manipulative behaviors when those expectations are not met. For instance, if Emma doesn't get the recognition she feels she deserves, she may act hurt and manipulate the situation to gain sympathy or special treatment. This can be incredibly draining for those trying to support her, as their efforts are often unappreciated or misconstrued as attacks. Over time, people may start to distance themselves from Emma, recognizing that their energy is better spent elsewhere. Emma's belief that she deserves extra attention and special treatment can also lead to a pattern of taking advantage of others. For example, she might expect friends to always accommodate her schedule or preferences, becoming upset when they don't. This expectation places an unfair burden on those around her, who may feel compelled to constantly bend to her will to avoid conflict. This dynamic is not sustainable, and eventually, even the most patient and generous individuals will reach their limit. The turning point for individuals like Emma often comes when they experience the same behavior they have been exhibiting. When Emma encounters someone who expects the same level of deference and special treatment she demands, she may begin to see the flaws in her attitude. For instance, if a new colleague starts to expect Emma to cover their workload because of their perceived charm or connections, Emma might realize how unfair and unreasonable her own expectations have been. This can be a humbling experience, prompting a much-needed reassessment of her approach to life and relationships. In essence, expecting the world to favor you without putting in the corresponding effort is a recipe for disappointment and strained relationships. Stoic philosophy teaches us that true contentment and respect come from living virtuously and contributing meaningfully to the world around us. Individuals who believe they are entitled to special treatment need to confront the reality that respect and rewards must be earned. Only through such experiences can they begin to understand the value of humility and hard work. To genuinely help such individuals, it's crucial to set boundaries and not enable their entitled behavior. Instead, focus on modeling the attitudes and behaviors you wish to see in them. Encourage them to take responsibility for their actions and to appreciate the efforts of others. While it may be a long and challenging process, fostering an environment where entitlement is not rewarded, but effort and merit are recognized can lead to a gradual but meaningful change. 9. People who don't want to learn or change. Stoicism emphasizes self-awareness and continuous self-improvement. However, there are individuals who resist looking at their own faults or making any effort to grow. They often remain stagnant, blaming others for their problems, rather than taking responsibility for their actions. Helping these individuals can be frustrating because they tend to reject advice and refuse to listen. Take Joe, for example. Joe never admits when he's wrong. Even when he makes a glaring mistake, he shifts the blame onto someone else. This pattern of behavior prevents him from learning from his errors and improving himself. Instead of reflecting on what went wrong and how he can avoid similar mistakes in the future, Joe remains trapped in a cycle of denial and blame. Similarly, Sarah is another person who resists change. At work, she receives constructive feedback on how to enhance her performance. Instead of considering this advice, she stubbornly clings to her own methods, convinced that her way is always the best. This resistance to feedback hinders her professional growth and limits her potential for success. Sarah's refusal to adapt and learn from others' experiences keeps her from achieving her goals and improving her skills. Then there's Mike, who faces repeated relationship issues. Each time a relationship ends, he insists that the problem lies with his partners, not with him. He believes he just hasn't met the right person yet. This refusal to examine his own behavior and patterns in relationships prevents him from forming lasting and meaningful connections. Mike's unwillingness to change and grow keeps him stuck in a cycle of failed relationships. Linda's financial struggles are another example of this mindset. She often finds herself in difficult financial situations, but refuses to take steps to manage her money better. Instead of budgeting or saving, she blames her job for not paying her enough. This externalization of blame prevents her from taking control of her finances and improving her situation. Linda's refusal to change her financial habits keeps her trapped in a cycle of financial instability. Helping people like Joe, Sarah, Mike, and Linda can be a challenging and often thankless task. They resist advice, reject feedback, and refuse to take responsibility for their actions. Sometimes, the best approach is to let them learn from their experiences and figure things out on their own. Constantly guiding them step by step can be exhausting and ineffective if they are not willing to listen and change. Stoicism teaches us to live in harmony with nature, forge strong relationships, and be accountable for our actions. By embodying these principles, we can lead meaningful lives aligned with the universe. Developing a strong mindset is essential for this journey. Just like the Stoics, we should strive to know ourselves better, continuously seek self-improvement, and take responsibility for our actions. Imagine a friend, Anna, who struggled with similar issues. She was always late for work and missed deadlines, blaming traffic and other external factors. One day, her boss had a candid conversation with her about taking responsibility and suggested practical steps she could take to improve her punctuality and time management. Initially resistant, Anna eventually realized the value of this advice. She started planning her commute better, setting reminders for deadlines, and gradually saw improvements in her professional life. This change not only enhanced her work performance, but also boosted her self-confidence and relationships with colleagues. By adopting a Stoic mindset, Anna learned to face her faults and take proactive steps to improve. This story illustrates that while helping resistant individuals can be challenging, there is hope if they are willing to change. Ultimately, fostering a strong mindset and embracing self-improvement can lead to a fulfilling and balanced life. For those interested in achieving such a mindset, exploring Stoic teachings can be a valuable starting point. Thank you for joining us on this journey through Stoic philosophy and the 9 types of people you should always say no to. By recognizing and avoiding these negative influences, you can safeguard your mental and emotional well-being, allowing you to lead a more balanced and fulfilling life. Remember, the wisdom of Stoicism teaches us to protect our inner peace and stay true to our values, even when faced with challenging individuals. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. We love hearing from you. Also, share this video with friends and family who might benefit from these insights. By subscribing, you'll stay updated with our latest videos, helping you continue your journey towards self-improvement and a deeper understanding of the world around you. Thank you for watching, and remember to live each day with wisdom and intention. Until next time, stay mindful, stay strong, and keep striving for a life of virtue and purpose.